Good evening, my name is William Cifuentes and I'm going to talk to you about balancing finances, politics, and public health, international students enrollment, and reopening plans at U.S. higher education institutions amid the COVID-19 pandemic. This story talks about the relationship between international student enrollment and institutional decisions to offer in-person classes during the COVID-19 pandemic. It focuses on July 2020, when tensions regarding the legal status of international students in the United States were high. The results showed that private non-profit institutions were more likely to switch to in-person instruction to attract more international students, but this posed health risk. Similar results were not found in public institutions. These findings highlight the financial dependence of private institutions on international students' enrollment, with implications for the future financial stability. The COVID-19 pandemic led to school closures, including higher education institutions, and reopening decisions were influenced by public opinion, government pressures, and the well-being of educational community. The need and risks of virtual learning versus in-person instructions were discussed, acknowledging that institutions could become source of virus transmission. During the reopening planning, institutional leaders faced the complex task of balancing health concerns with financial needs. Partisan's affiliation influences institutional decisions, with states under the Republican leadership more likely to reopen for in-person instruction. Additional changes in immigration policies affecting international students who were forced to modify their enrollment plans or even leave the country due to visa restrictions. This landscape highlights the complexities and ethical dilemmas institutional leaders had to face during the pandemic. Reopening decisions were influenced by financial, political, and immigration considerations, leading to significant tensions and challenge. As a personal reflection, this analysis underscores the importance of addressing the health and safety needs of the educational community without neglecting the financial stability of institutions. In times of crisis, it is crucial to seek equitable and sustainable solutions that protect the well-being of all involved and promote quality educations. For more greater cooperation among institutional leaders, the government, and other stakeholders is required to effectively address financial challenges and ensure a resilient future for higher education. Previous research reveals the growing dependence of educational institutions in the United States on revenue generated by international students, especially in the face of declining financial support from other sources. The lack of international students enrollment in the fall of 2020 is concerning, as it could have disastrous financial consequences for many universities and colleges in the country. In this context, the extent to which international students' enrollment influenced institutional leaders' decisions regarding reopening plans was explored. Institutional leaders face the challenge of balancing the protection of students and community health, access to qualified services, financial stability, and the migratory security of international students. Overall, institutions are becoming increasingly dependent of the enrollment of international students, leading some to take measures to protect themselves from a significant decline in revenue generated by these students. Additionally, measures must be considered to ensure qualified education and the well-being of all students in crisis situations, striking a balance between economic needs and the safety of the educational community. This study seeks to analyze the extent to which institutions are willing to change their policies to accommodate international students' enrollment even in the midst of a public health crisis, and contributes to the literature or institutional incentives to attract and enroll international students in a challenging context. It is crucial for institutions to understand the importance of diversifying their source of income and developing strategies that allow them to maintain financial stability without relying solely on the enrollment of international students. In conclusion, this study highlights the financial dependence of non-profit educational institutions in the United States on the enrollment of international students, a dependence that has been accentuated during the COVID-19 pandemic. These findings invite us to reflect on the importance of diversifying income sources in the education sector and to consider the implications of relying heavily on a specific group of students. It is evident that the pandemic has revealed vulnerabilities of educational institutions, particularly in terms of their finances. In addition to anticipate decline in international students' enrollment, public institutions also face political pressures and other unforeseen circumstances that can influence their reopening decisions. The case of the University of Georgia, where significant change in campus instruction occurred, while the football team continued to schedule in-person spectator games, highlight the complexity of decisions that institutional leaders must make amidst the crisis. This situation emphasizes the need to balance the health and safety of the university community with the economic demands of expectations of different stakeholders. In the future, it is essential for institutional leaders to explore strategies to diversify income sources and reduce financial dependence on a single group of students. This involves seeking new funding opportunities, strengthening relationships with the public and private sectors, and developing contingency plans to address unforeseen situations. Ultimately, this study demonstrates the importance of understanding financial dependencies in the context of higher education and how institutional leaders can make more informed and resilient decisions to face future challenges. It is crucial to seek creative and sustainable solutions that protect educational quality and the well-being of the entire education community. Thank you.